Listen up, Earth Angels. You will be remembered as one of the greats. The greatest minds, a great artist, one of the great writers, one of the great philanthropists, one of the great humanitarians, one of the great leaders, one of the great spiritualists, one of the great scientists. I almost don't want to put a label on it because I kind of have a feeling that the earth angels who resonate with me and who are supposed to get this message, you're going to be a combination of all of those things and more things that I didn't even list, because you'll be remembered as one of the greats. You know, you're so great. You are ineffable. Oh, I love that word. It means so great, beautiful, or extreme that there are no words for it. And that's you. That's how you'll be remembered. And then we think of like, who's one of the greats? Michael Jackson, of course. And we've been seeing now, like, oh my gosh, he was so brilliant. Like, he used to script, he used to do mirror work, and he would be like, I'm the greatest. I make magic. Number one selling album of all time. He did this before he wrote these things, before he put these things out. He had to be able to claim it before others bestowed it upon him. And that's what you're doing. Because we know when other people put something on you, it's just not the same as when you claim it for yourself. People will remember you as one of the greats, but you got to remember it first. I just went to this on Thursdays. I go to this really cool body doubling co-working session with this group of really talented artists and artists. I don't know why I said it like that. Um, but you know what it reminds me of, and I told them this, like Maya Angelou was actually good friends with James Baldwin, and she was also friends with, I want to say Martin Luther King. Might have been Malcolm X though, but um, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King died suddenly, were killed suddenly, and Maya Angelou was super sad, super depressed. This was when she was like 40 years old, okay? And then her good friend James Baldwin was like, "Listen, girly pop, I know this is really tragic, but you should put your pain, your trauma into writing. You should write a book." So James Baldwin was good friends with Maya Angelou, and he was the one who told her to write a book. And after that, she wrote I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And you too will be remembered as one of the greats. So your process now is like, we're going to be looking back and be like, oh my God, this Earth Angel and this Earth Angel knew each other? That's crazy. But also, it kind of makes sense. That's just how it is. Great people recognize great people before everyone else recognizes them. Not to say there's anything wrong necessarily with being common and, unexceptional, but that's just not who you are. You're exceptional. You are so exceptional. You're one of the greats. People will remember you as such. And so now, can you look at like your, journal differently, you know, because it's like the journal of one of the greats. This is worth millions of dollars. The value of this journal is beyond modern day comprehension. Oh my God, why can't I close it? The value of this journal is beyond modern day comprehension because it's the journal of one of the greats. Give me 50 years. Oh my gosh, please. They're gonna be charging 1 gajillion gigaboobs or whatever the unit of measurement for currency is gonna be then. You're one of the greats, one of the great visionaries. You're one of the people who is here to evolve the species. Ooh, I know it seems like a lot, but like, listen, this is a game of being delusional. You got to believe it before anyone else does. If you don't believe it, it's going to be hard for other people to believe it. You have all of this backstory and context and, nuance about why you are one of the greats, one of the greatest. So yeah, if you can like see yourself as that, it's just so powerful. So yeah, like I'm in this creative salon group where it's like the future Maya Angelou's and James Baldwin and Toni Morrison and, you know, George Carlin, one of the greats of comedy. He had to understand that, maybe he didn't have to understand it. I think he would have had a much better experience of life if he realized, listen, whatever you give us, people are going to see it as genius. People are going to see you as the standard. They're going to be like, man, one of the greats. Just hearing your name or your last name is going to associate people, it's going to get people thinking about greatness. So powerful. Yeah. So you're one of the greats, man. And I've got an inkling you resonate with other greats. That's just kind of how it is. Like contemporaries of their time are magnetized to each other. They find themselves in the same spaces. So yeah, like what's his name? F. Scott Fitzgerald was good friends with um what's that one? What's that one? Not Mark Twain. He was real depressed. I don't know. I can't really keep white men straight, but um they were friends, Like I'm gonna say, like, I don't know white men. I'll say like Picasso and Dali. I don't know if they were actually friends, but I think were they both Spanish? I don't know anything about these white men, but they hung out together. You always read about these like salons, which was just people hanging out at someone's house, artists hanging out at someone's house and like writing and brainstorming and challenging each other to little creative games. I think Frankenstein was conceived of by Mary Shelley when she and her husband, who was another writer, and some other people were hanging out at each other's house, and they were like, write the scariest story you can. And of course, my girl, Mary Shelley, is like, hold up, let me create a genre for you guys. All right. And it was probably extra hard to recognize one's greatness back in the day. I'm going to say she was like around in the Victorian era because, like, I don't really know, white people. But I do know that she had to believe in it first. It must have been so hard being around all those dudes who think they're so freaking smart. And she's like, listen, I got a banger. This is going to be bar after bar. It's going to revolutionize the whole thing. It's going to change the game. I think that's what you are bringing to the table too. Like that's why I didn't want to say like, oh, you're, going to be one of the greats, a great writer, a great, speaker, a great mystic. You're going to be all of these things. You are going to, like shatter and transcend all of the current categorizations that we have. You are bigger than them. What you're giving to us is more than just entertainment. It's more than just information. It's more than just, like somebody yapping at you. It's actually healing, not just you, generations, our species, our collective, the earth. Ooh, wow, that is so powerful. And so, yeah, maybe you can see yourself now. Maybe like just going into the weekend, practice, baby steps, fine. Um, you know, what if you really believed that you were going to be remembered as one of the greats? Are you going to wait until you're in your 70s and be like, oh man, I'm one of the greats? Or are you going to like recognize it now and orient yourself towards that version? And then like you kind of meet that version of you. That version of you understands the brilliance that lies in your journal. That version of you understands the insightful wisdom that is just like chilling in your notes app. So yeah, Michael Jackson, one of the greats, he would script, he would write, before he puts out a song, he would write, I make magic, I'm the greatest of all times. Um, I, have the number one selling album in history. And it became so. And we recognize him as one of the greats. And, we were like mean to him. The Zionists really tried to destroy him and um, slander him, color everyone's perception of him. When abusers can't control you, they try to control other people's perception of you. Okay, so um, now that we know that, it's like, whoa, good on Michael for not like, responding to everything, not always trying to defend himself, just letting people think he's crazy and eccentric and whatever, all of these other things. He knows he's the greatest of all time. He knows he has a good, pure heart. He knows he is here to help and spread love and joy and magic. So he doesn't have to worry about, what the naysayers say. He doesn't have to worry about what, the not great people have to say about the great. Oh, what's that? There's a saying that is, oh, we usually only hear part of it. Okay, so it's, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. The whole saying is imitation is the most sincere form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Ooh! So if you ever are like, oh, I put this thing out and like now this person is trying to copy it and like, they're trying to say it's their style. This is my style. They're just, you're the muse, babe. You're the inspiration. You're the greatest of all time. Yeah, people are gonna try to sound like Michael Jackson. They're gonna try to dance like Michael Jackson, but like they not Michael Jackson, babe. And in fact, imitation is kind of like the most sincere form of like flattery and love and adoration that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Imitation is really all these people can do. That's as close as they can come. You're just so real. You're just so genuine. Your greatness is just so ineffable. Ooh, that all people can do is copy you, be inspired by you, and just like stare in awe. Just like, whoa, oh my God, we've never seen something like this before. You're one of the greats, one of the great visionaries. Your mind is just, we've literally never seen it before. We've never heard of it before. Who's one of the greats? We think of like Einstein or something, To him, he was just a regular guy. He might not have realized that like he would be thought of, he would be remembered as one of the greats. Cleopatra, I don't know if she understood the mark she would leave in history just by her being herself and trying to live, trying to survive. And that's you, okay? So sit with that. What changes when you claim, when you remember that you will be remembered as one of the greats? How do you move through your day? Do you allow yourself to take a nap? Are you as are you as beholden to like the clock, the time? I never wear a watch. I don't know why I do that, but you know what I mean. I was just now, me and Billy were working on he's editing a video for me, and I was about to do this episode. I was like really wanted to give it this message, okay? And I was starting to get a little like antsy, and then I'm like, listen, does it matter what time I do this message? Would I care that Maya Angelou started like writing at like 3 p.m. versus 4 p.m.? No, I don't care. I don't care what her process is. I just love the product. I am glad that she moved through her process and gave us the beautiful genius masterpiece that she gave us. And so, yeah, you got to think of yourself as that. You got to give yourself that grace. Like, listen, masterpieces take the time they need to come through. So don't beat yourself up because you're like, oh, like I said I was gonna, work at this time, but then I did this other thing and I'm just, oh, like, girl, you're one of the greats. How you do it is going to be the blueprint for how other people do it, for how, the imitators of you do it. So be generous with yourself. You can say that it's easy. You can say that your process involves a lot of rest. It involves a lot of sleep. It involves a lot of chilling. It involves a lot of just opening yourselves up to receive the download. It also involves, you believing it. The rest will follow. If you work on your self-belief, if you work on your just knowing and who you are, everything changes. Okay, you know what just came up to me? Sometimes I would be talking to my therapist and I would be, taking her through my process and I would be like, if I were a goddess, if I, I'll just go with if I were a goddess, I would do this. And she was like, I noticed that you never say like, if I were a lawyer or if I were a black woman. It's because I already accept that I am a black woman. I already accept that I am a lawyer. Maybe it's because someone else has bestowed that upon me. So it's easy for me to now claim I am a lawyer. I am a black woman. Someone else has already validated that. But it's a little bit harder for me to claim I am a queen. I am one of the greats. It feels safer, more comfortable for me to say like if I were one of the greats, if I were a queen, if I were a goddess, but it kind of is implying that I don't actually believe that. So, I got to do a little bit of, changing my vocabulary with how I speak to myself. A brilliant thing Billy said to me today was that a brilliant download he got was that, like, you got to say it out loud. You got to talk to yourself out loud. It really is really powerful. We don't realize how much time we spend in our heads. And we have this, like, I know when people used to catch me talking to myself, I would be so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God. Like they saw me just like going through whatever scenario I was going through in my head and getting so into it that I didn't even realize that like other people could see me. Or like, I'm like so into my thing and like someone's like, what'd you say? And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I was talking to myself. It's actually such a powerful practice though to talk to yourself, hear your voice out loud. Sometimes when I like get like I'll get an intrusive thought of like something I said that makes me cringe and I'm like thinking about like, oh, I should have said this. I say out loud, Sheba, you're so perfect. You're so beautiful. I love you so much. You're so brilliant. I interrupt my inner voice with my much louder, more intentional outer voice. The inner voice might be your parents' voice. It might be, the people you grew up with, your bullies, the media. I don't know. It's not yours though. It helps sometimes to kind of shout down, talk over that inner voice. And just remember, like, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm magic. Everything I say is brilliant. I'm perfect. I'm showing these hoes how it's done until that outer voice becomes your inner voice. And then it gets like, oh my God, everything just keeps like your 3D just keeps reflecting back to you what you know, which is that you will be remembered as one of the greats. And if you will be remembered as such, you can understand that you're that now. And so everything you do now is brilliant. You know how they see I've seen on YouTube sometimes they'll be like, this is Elvis's favorite sandwich, or like this is this person's favorite meal. So think that like your favorite meal, your particular morning routine, if you have one, your sleep schedule is going to be studied. People are going to be like, wow, this is how one of the greats did it. Like I think you're going to be someone who just how you live your life in general is going to be considered iconic. One of the greats. So don't be sleeping on whatever you want to have for lunch. Whatever your favorite meal is, whatever your tastes are. It's actually the tastes of one of the greats. Whoa. And some people on their process, maybe you are inspiring future greats. And for them to get themselves in that energy of being the greats, they'll be like, okay, what did this earth angel do? They, always, I don't know, like they always took a bath and they smoked weed and then they would just like do whatever, they would walk around or they would work out or blah blah blah. So you can just see what you do, what you desire, what you want to do as powerful, as like, whoa, this is something that one of the greats does. Ooh, so powerful. So brilliant. I delivered the message. Let me know what you think in the comments, all right? Like, comment, subscribe. I think that's all I got, okay? I love you guys so much. And I'll talk to you, Earth Angels, later, okay? Love you. Bye.